The Winter Room, room number 1, marks the beginning of our walkthrough of the castle. It starts with Christian IV and places us in the central room of the king's quite modest apartment. The many paintings covering the walls were very typical at the time of Christian IV and was but one of many ways of showing off one's power and wealth. They were bought from the Netherlands, and though it would probably be an injustice to equate them with the IKEA paintings of today, like their modern counterpart, they came out of something like an assembly line in the workshops, and so the thought isn't far-fetched. So as such, this was a very modern room, not least because Christian IV had a little extra thing installed for entertaining guests. We have an account of the king walking into this particular room with a guest, and after removing his hat, music started playing, even though no musicians were to be seen. If you move to one of the corners of the room, you can now see where the music was coming from. Sound channels. At the time they were concealed by furniture, making them even harder to spot. You might be wondering though how the musicians knew when the king was removing his hat. It was quite simple really. They were probably told by a servant hiding in the royal bedroom, looking through a small peephole which is still there today. And this was just one of many unique inventions. For instance, he also had a speaking tube installed that enabled him to communicate with whoever was in the other end of the castle. Today we have more than 3,000 letters from the hand of Christian IV, and as such he was both very productive and unique. We know that he wrote some letters, even love letters, from his writing room, room number 2, and addressed them to his second wife, Kirsten Munk, with whom he shared Rosenborg. He was a very passionate man and didn't just share his bed with one woman, even though he might be described as a serial monogamist and still managed to have more than 20 children. This silver figurine depicts Christian IV at his coronation tournament, where he won most of the games, and it tells us a lot about Christian IV. This was one of the few items he chose to save when he needed money and had most of his gold and silver melted down, after having lost his part of the 30-year war. And saving this could mean he wanted to remember his successful youth.